be your nerd now. I say it, baby, 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 baby. What the hell was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Doug.
And we're here to bring you all the nerd news on a Friday night. Welcome, guys, to the first Grizzled Geek Podcast of the year.
Yep.
Woo!
I know, exciting.
Beginning the year with a good old 69.
That's right, 69. Very special episode. 69. And Volume 3, Episode 69. As we hit Volume 3, someone asked me, I believe it was one of you guys, how we do the volumes in this thing. Well, we do volumes because Apple Podcasts require us to do volumes. And the first volume was before we did the live stream podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the episodes before that, Volume 1, once we started doing all the podcasts live stream, we started Volume 2, and then, we kind of rolled into this year. Now we do it yearly. Each year will be a volume.
Mm.
Right. So, 69. First episode of Volume 3. Man. So, guys, welcome. Want to thank everybody who's joining us from, out there in podcast land, wherever you get your podcast.
I was going to say, what, Belgium? Are you going to go on with that again?
Hey, I got to give a shout out to my Belgium followers. They got, there's 12 solid, sometimes up to 15 that listen to us. So, this is for you guys. But no, but all the ones that listen to us out there, Deezer, Spotify, Apple, however you're listening to the podcast out there, really appreciate it. But if you want to check us out and come over and see what we look like, check out some of our other videos, you can join us at youtube.com/thegrizzledgeek, where we have our other reaction shows. We have our podcast every Friday, which of course you know because I just talked about it. But and you're watching it now. We're listening to it. So, all right, guys. So how was the holidays for you guys?
Yeah, not too bad.
Pretty
good.
good. Not long enough.
Not long enough? You guys actually have like a break in work, or did you work through the holidays?
Yeah. No, I had 2 4-day weekends, essentially.
Yeah.
So.
We had 2 3-day weekends, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our work gives us Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then obviously that ran into the weekend. But they normally let us out like half a day on the Wednesday before. But instead of doing that this year, they just gave us all of New Year's Eve, which is usually a half day. So then nice. New Year's Eve, New Year's was, Thursday, Friday, and then we went into the weekend. So we got 2 4-day weekends in a row. It was pretty nice.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get the same. I did 2 3-day weekends, but yeah. So now I'm kind of like I'm done with my the latest class I just had. So I actually have a couple weeks where, other than meetings and prep and stuff like that, I don't have a whole lot to do. So I don't start a class still for another 2 weeks. So
nice.
Woo! I'm not gonna know what to do, man. It's been nonstop since summer. And I'm like, 2 weeks. Wow. We'll see. We'll see what kind of trouble I get up to. All right, guys. A couple things I want to go over with everybody out there. One, the channel, our YouTube channel. We are 42,000, just over 42,000 views away. Away from 1 million views for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 years, 1 million views. And, when me and Doug started this out, we're like, wow, what if anyone's going to listen to this? Well, if not, our friends maybe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe our friends, maybe we can con some family members into listening every once in a while. But no matter what, we're doing it for us, right? This is us. We're just filming us goobing about the stuff we goob about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
So, and here we are, 4 years later, knocking on the door of 1 million views. Thank you, everybody. Hey, Dark Gator, thank you for joining us. Yeah, been with us for a while. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's exciting. I'm like, it's one of those things like, let's see how we're doing. And I'm like, oh, wow, we're creeping up on 1 million views. So we should be there in just a couple weeks, guys, at the rate we're going now. So either the end of January or the first part of February, we should hit that 1 million views. And then we'll have a 1 million view special.
Heck yeah.
We'll have some surprises that we got work in store here and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you want to help us out, come to the channel, watch a few videos,
Watch
our
them
view
all.
count up there, watch them all. You know,
Yeah.
heck, you know,
Might as
make a
well,
marathon
you're
of
at
it. That's right. Put it on the background. Do whatever you're doing. Clean the house.
It'll only take you about, I don't know, 500,000 hours to catch up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, if you do it while you're sleeping, you know, that's
That's
like
true.
half the night, so.
I mean, sleeping, dreaming of my voice.
Never mind,
yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, well, that's a scary proposition right
Might
there.
give you some nightmares.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. So, new year, we got some goals coming up here. It looks like, obviously, this last year, kind of, part of the shit show that it was, that we kind of like had to kind of rearrange how we do things, right? So we're no longer in the world famous Grizzled Geek Studios, and now we're having to do things apart. So it looks like going forward, guys, that is the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. But I think we've got things worked out, as you can tell by some of our latest reaction videos. We've found a way to work it out, get together, react. We should get more of those up there for you guys. Revamping some of our Patreon content, and a special thank you guys for all the patrons out there who've stuck with us this last year. I know you didn't have to, but we really appreciate it. So it's helping us get going here. Give us a reason to do this, man. But I'd do this anyway, even if it was just me watching it. But but we thank you guys. Also, we got some more stuff coming up. So we have some more announcements coming up here about that. We're gonna start getting back into doing some more reactions. We might do. We're talking about dipping back into some of our older shows, maybe not on an ongoing basis, but kind of like a rotating basis. Like we might do 1 month we do a Grizzle Weave episode, 1 month we do like a Does It Hold Up episode. Some of those old shows that people have been asking about recently. There's a lot of new people coming in, checking out our old videos and asking, like, why don't you do why doesn't it hold up anymore? I'm like, well, where were you when we were doing it?
Right.
But yeah, I think it's something we want to do as well. So yeah, take a look for that coming up here. So now that we actually have a settling into this new normal for us. So, all right, guys. Anything else you want to add about the, big plans for the upcoming goals for this year? Anything major?
Yeah, well, the only other thing I'd like to throw out there is I had hoped by this point to already have stuff done for it, but we're trying to get back into our Grizzled Warmaster second channel with some Age of Sigmar content, and I don't know, Mike might do some D&D content. As soon as I figure out my filming situation, because all the videos I recorded for it were like froze up and they were stuttery and stuff like that, so I don't know if I'm gonna have to go to filming on my phone, upgrade my computer, which
that's a perfect excuse to upgrade your computer.
Problem with that is every decent video card around is sold out. You can't buy a video card now. So I'm like, well, it'd be pointless to upgrade everything else and then still have the problem with which is probably what's freezing up my video recording is the graphics card. So
right. Welcome to this time of year.
Yeah.
For anybody who's put computers together.
I don't think it's just this type of year. It's the whole supply chain with some countries being more locked down than others.
Yep.
Like I don't know about graphic cards, how many people, like, for example, iPhones are made in 40 different countries. A single iPhone comes from 40 different countries. So if any of those are locked down and can't get their components out, well, now you can't finish that iPhone. So I assume a lot of computer and technology kind of stuff falls into that same trap where they just can't keep up with demand.
Yeah.
Time to hit the black market, Doug. Get on that deep web, find yourself a graphics card.
I wouldn't want to pay that amount of money. I don't want to pay the amount of money that a freaking graphics card costs right now. So,
yeah, but we're definitely, once we get Doug editing a little more, we can actually do this. It's hard to do gaming content for tabletop games when we can't get together to play them. But we still play D&D. See, Dark Canner wants some D&D content. I'm with you. We're bringing back the Grizzled Game Master. I actually, to tell you the truth, I actually have 2 episodes that are being edited now. So, getting ready to release those with a bang. We're actually scripting out a 3rd one. So, should we get going? Sirs and madam, welcome.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this first story.
We're excited about it? All right.
Yeah, well, I don't know about excited about it, but
All right, so let's talk Wonder Woman. Guys.
I wouldn't say I'm missing it, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. So Wonder Woman came out this Christmas, and my wife being a huge Wonder Woman fan, of course we watched it, Christmas Day on the couch watching this, and it was one of those things where you know how, Doug, if you remember back when we went to see the prequels, right?
Yeah,
you remember that?
that is a perfect.
Remember that in line, we're standing there with our lightsabers and super hyped. We bought like 4 shows in a row that we're gonna go see them back to back, right?
Yeah.
And you come out of that first one, you're in a daze, right? You're kind of like, yeah, Star Wars. Kind of looking around, yeah. We stumble our way into the next one. By the time you come out of the second showing of it, you're like, is it me, or was that not very good? That is the exact feeling I had watching Wonder Woman. So it was one of those, like, the first one was so good. I go into it like, all right, Wonder Woman, this would be great. And then I watched it, and I'm looking at my wife, who's a huge Wonder Woman fan. She kind of looks at me, she's like, we're both like, yeah, Wonder Woman. That was good, right? Right?
The problem with it, in my opinion, and I'm not going to go into, we don't want to spoil any. Kirsten hasn't seen it yet. We don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But my opinion is this is an hour and 30, maybe an hour and 40-minute movie stretched out to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems, because I'm 40 minutes into the movie going, when's this going to start? What is going on?
Yeah.
It's just, it was bad pacing. But
True.
there were, like I said, there were a few things I'm like, if you just cut that junk out and move to that, and
here's the thing. I was so hyped about this because the early reviews came in when it was just the reviewers. It had like an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was doing really well, right? Everything was good. And so I'm like, so after I watch it, I'm like, is it just me? Right? Am I jaded somehow? What's going on here? But let's take a look at how it did, right? So Wonder Woman's made almost 30 million domestically and just over 100 million worldwide. However, there's been a sharp drop-off in the U.S. and China, suggesting that it won't go much further than that. In fact, analysts believe that the film total will be considerably far less than what Tenet has made, which was a bomb. It's getting mixed to bad reviews from audience scores now that it's actually come out and more people than the critics are seeing it. It's just 1 point away from being rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and that's when I think that was earlier this week. So I'm not sure if I didn't check it earlier today. So, but the big gamble for it was streaming, right? Mm-hmm. The whole reason why they're doing this whole thing is to get people to get HBO Max, right? So did it work? Did people get HBO Max for it? Kind of. So it helped HBO Max. There was 554,000 users signed up the weekend of release, right? And now HBO Max stands at 12 million subscribers. But
if you optimistically, not optimistically, from a pure numbers, that's only 8.3 million more it's made.
Yeah.
Now, that's 8.3 million per month that they can keep those 554,000 people.
Yeah.
But that's still, you are not going to keep those people strictly from that. And even if you did, that's still only 99 million.
Yeah. And when you look at a movie that costs almost 300 million to make,
Yeah.
you're like,
now, obviously, this wasn't their plan to begin with. They wanted it out in theaters, and it would have made a ton of money more. So there's more you could look at it as like, if you can keep that 500,000 subscribers, then you make up a third of its production cost.
Yeah.
That's not lost. It got you something.
It'll be interesting to see what the numbers are throughout this month, because it's got a month. It came out, right, in December. Mm-hmm. Then we got a month, all of January until February, at the end of February, when Snyder Cut comes out, right, which is the next big release for HBO Max. If they keep those subscribers for that month of January, right, if they don't have a month drop off and then it comes back up again for Snyder Cut, then we know, it's, success, however you want to measure it there. But we do have a way of measuring it, right? We can compare it to another streaming service, right? You compare it to Disney Plus, which released a movie at the same time. It had competition. So if they were in the movies together, the movie Soul, a Pixar movie, was released on Disney Plus the exact same time. And comparatively, Soul crushed it. Soul got 2.3 million downloads over the same period, right? And Disney Plus stands at 87 million subscribers at the moment. So,
did either of you watch Soul?
I did.
I did. Yep.
It's the better of the two movies.
It is definitely better than the two movies. Absolutely. And you know what? It was not on my radar. If you would have asked me which movie I was going to think would be better, I was going to be like, well, you're a Pixar, Disney fanboy. So
I am, and Soul wasn't really on my radar. I knew it existed. Yeah. And it was one of those, I'll watch it. It just wasn't like, okay, I can't wait.
Exactly.
But
it was I was the same way. I knew it was coming, but it wasn't one of those, like, oh, if you dangled both movies, I would have definitely been reaching for the Wonder Woman one. Like, oh, that's the one I want to see. Right.
Yeah.
But it was a better movie, but people didn't know that going into it, right? And you just look at the number difference that Soul did over Wonder Woman. And you can say that, Soul is a family movie, right? But Wonder Woman did so well. Wonder Woman was very...
I think Wonder Woman is not... Yeah. I think any superhero movie pretty much can be considered a family movie as well.
Yeah. I agree.
They have mass appeal. Sorry, my spawner's shaking. It's got my camera on top of it.
Dark Hander said Soul is good. Pixar equals good movie. Absolutely. I mean, pretty much.
Well, and it's the same guy who did Up and Inside Out. So Well, he was the co-director, I think.
Right. But Soul is very good. And but despite all this, Wonder Woman 3 got greenlit. Right? I don't know if that's defiance on the part of Warner Brothers or whether it's just like we're gonna do it. You're gonna go see Wonder Woman. But I don't know. I will say that I like parts of it. There's parts I liked. I even like some of the cheesy stuff that other people didn't like. But it's not a good movie.
It was missing the heart and charm that the first one had. Yeah. And it's just like, well, and you get from the previews the kind of fish out of water when Steve's there, where he's all like, oh, that's art. Oh, that's, just everybody parachute and pants. And, oh, that's just a trash can. That whole flipping, her being a fish out of water from the first one, and you're just like, it falls flat.
It does.
It's like it was.
And you got most of the best lines about that in the trailer.
Yeah, and it was funny and charming when it was him leading her around London, partly because we were fish out of water too. Yeah. With her, we're like, well, that's kind of weird because it's turn of the century England, and then this, you're just like, meh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But oh well, guys, so basic review for Wonder Woman. Yeah. Definitely not in the win column for Warner Brothers, which few movies are really.
Still not as bad as Batman v Superman.
It was still not. Okay, I suppose I could see that argument.
Hurt about it. I feel
What's that?
like I feel hurt about it. Like I feel like Warner Brothers had one job, and it was to get this movie right, right? Like they've
Right.
been doing shit on everything else, but
Yep.
they did Wonder Woman real well. So all they had to do was just do really well in Wonder Woman 2, and they could just keep up confidence that maybe something good will come forward in the future, right?
Yeah.
And they had all of this time to put it together, and everyone's bar is low anyway right now because no one's going to the movies.
Right.
So,
Exactly. It just
like,
had to be
you just had
entertaining.
to entertain us. Like,
Yeah.
I find
I
this.
don't know.
I find it super hard to believe this was Patty Jenkins' movie. I
Yeah.
just don't
Well,
understand.
that's just it. That's my next point. I was going to ask if we're worried about like the Rogue Squadron movie she's doing now. Because here's the thing: Wonder Woman 1 was really good, right? But she
Right.
didn't write that. She wrote this movie.
Oh, did she?
She directed Wonder Woman 1. She didn't write it. This one she wrote and directed, right?
Interesting.
So at first glance, you're like, oh my God, well, maybe she should have someone else write her movies. But then again, you look back at Monster, and Monster she wrote and directed, and it was a great movie, right? So which Patty Jenkins are we going to get for Rogue Squadron?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, maybe there was a lot of studio interference. Maybe it was all Warner Brothers' fault on this. Like, although, I don't know. We'll wait until Kirsten's seen it to discuss it more.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's some things you're just going, I don't think the studio would interfere and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some weird decisions.
Yeah.
But, okay. Anyway, Doug,
All right, let's talk about.
is there other hope for the DCFU?
Let's try some more Warner Brother dumpster fire stuff here. All right, last week, WB's Walter Hamada announced that there would be 2 simultaneous Batman stories being told, with one being Matt Reeves' The Batman movie and the other connected to the DCFU. Okay, interesting. To everyone's surprise, the second Batman will not be Ben Affleck, who's reprising his role for the upcoming Flashpoint movie, but will instead be the OG movie Batman, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But before you get too excited about that, maybe not. Maybe not.
That was all the rumor all this
Yeah.
week was how Keaton's going to...
Yeah. Brooke Barnes of the New York Times, who wrote the article, has since backtracked a little and said he has no knowledge of Keaton's involvement in any other movies other than the Flash one.
Right. He didn't say that he's not going to be the future, going forward. He just said right now he's not in any other movies than Flashpoint.
Yeah. However, many are speculating Keaton may play a Nick Fury type role going forward after Flashpoint, with cameos in other DC movies.
Right. So the way it came out was Walter Hamada made that announcement in this, basically, in this thing, saying there's going to be 2 simultaneous Batman stories going on. One connected with the DCFU and one of them being Matt Reeves, the Batman. So everyone's all like, oh, okay, so it's going to be... So later on, they asked the Brooke Barnes which one in that, he wasn't clear about that, who's going to be the Batman connected with the DCFU. And he wrote back, it's Keaton. Keaton's going to be that Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after everything blew up, like, oh, Keaton's going to leave, he's coming back, he's going to be the DCFU's Batman going forward, and blah, blah, blah. Brooke Barnes came back and retweeted, he's like, let me clear some things up here. First off, to be clear, the only movie I know Keaton's involved in is Flashpoint. So, that's what he said. So maybe that might have been the studio contacting him going, hey, what are you doing? Dropping info.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't in his article, right? That was just someone asked him on Twitter.
Right. Okay.
And then he said it, right? And then and then he kind of backtracked a little bit, like, "Well, this is the only one." But he backtracked in a way saying, didn't say he was wrong. He basically backtracked and said, "I don't know of any other movies he's in." So I don't know, because Walter Hamada made that someone is right. Someone is going forward, and if it's not Ben Affleck,
right?
Who is it? And they spent all this money getting Keaton back for Flashpoint, right? So
right. Here's the thing: is the only way I want Keaton back as Bruce Wayne, as a Nick Fury type thing in Flashpoint, is if the other connected Batman to the DCFU is Batman Beyond.
Yes.
And
Oh
just
my God,
brought forward in time.
We need Terry McGinnis.
And
Batman.
then I'll be all cool with it. Because that is essentially, when you look at Michael Keaton, he is the age Bruce Wayne is in Batman Beyond. We just haven't gone to quite
so
as cyberpunk a society.
He's so
but
good.
It would still be. Yeah. So who knows? But I would be all down for that.
I will say this:
right,
if
cool.
they do that, if they get Batman Beyond and they have Keaton as Batman for that,
as Bruce
every
Wayne,
time I shit on the DCFU, I'll add in the except for Batman.
I'm going to convert Mike to a super Batman fan.
I'm already a big Keaton fan, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think of that? That you think about Keaton as a kind of Nick Fury type for the DCFU?
I'd be okay with it. I'm not like, it's not something I have to have. But if it means you're bringing back something that's going to start tying things back together, and you're going to reapproach, like, let's start tying these people back together.
Yeah,
I would be cool with that.
And it makes sense with Flashpoint can explain away why characters are changing, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing is, all of these, and this goes back to the Wonder Woman as well, and all of, until you get somebody,
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's still Warner Brothers. Until you get somebody like Kevin Feige, who has ultimate authority, who has like a guarantee from the studio heads that, you're going to let me do my thing and let me control the reins. Until that happens, I don't have a lot of faith of anything more than project to project. I would have said before, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam are the only bright spots for, the WB, the DCFU. It's all, those are the only ones I have a lot of hope for.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. Well, I'm not going to say I'm excited. I'm excited to see Keaton back as Batman, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they give him a bat suit that he can turn his head in. But now they have that technology.
We have the technology. We can make it better.
All right. Kirsten, got our next story. Someone asked me if we were going to re-record that. I'm like, why?
It's exactly like it's supposed to be.
Is it?
Alrighty. Well, in Weep news, we have a new king in Japan. For almost 20 years, Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away has topped the Japanese box office as the highest grossing film there with 30.8 billion yen. No surprise to anyone. Everyone's heard of that movie, if not seen it and love it.
Such a great movie. And I'm not even a huge anime fan, but yeah.
But on the tail end of 2020, it was finally topped by another anime. And what was that anime, you ask? Well, it was Demon Slayer, the movie, Mugen's Train. I still haven't seen it.
I was going to say, are you familiar with that at all, isn't it?
I know Demon Slayer. I watched the anime, but I haven't seen the movie yet. So I'll have to take a look at it. It ended on, the anime itself ended on a really good note and in a place that it would make for an excellent movie if they did it. And then when they announced it, I was like, yes, but I don't know where to watch it. So I've got to find nefarious means to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the number one movie in Japan now. I mean, it was almost 20 years. Spirited Away stood at the top of the charts, and then so it must be good if it come in and
Well, I feel like Demon Slayer is another one of those that like came out and got really big on Netflix and like all the other like streaming places, so it's like in the age where people are already watching anime, so they're familiar with it. It's a more popularized anime, so it's just like if Inuyasha had a movie this time around, if Inuyasha had the kind of like ability for people to get into it as they do now, because it's so widely available to the public to catch on and like enjoy it. So I think that it's just a matter of circumstances that we are in, that a lot of people are watching anime, getting into it, and there came out a movie that's awesome and a lot of people are looking for. So
All right.
Cool.
And Japan's life-sized Mobile Suit Gundam exhibit is now earned 2 Guinness World Records. The first one is the largest mobile humanoid robot. It's almost 3 times the size of the next largest, Mech 1, also Japan, and much more mobile. The second is the largest Gundam mech, as there are others in Japan, China, and Korea. It is the only one of these that are mobile.
I feel we're missing out. Why does our country not have giant mobile mech suits? Right? Clearly, the Pacific nations know something that we don't. That they're investing in mech technology.
They're just, we're just not letting people know that we have it until they actually come in.
Yeah, I got it.
Playing the long game.
Yeah. I looked these up because I was intrigued by the fact that I'm like, really, these are actually Guinness records? In order for that to happen, there has to be more of them, and I didn't know there was anything else, right? So, like that Mecha 1, other one, it's only mobile from like the waist. The legs don't move, right?
Right.
So it turns around, arms move a little bit, but the mobile Gundam suit is a whole fully movable, right? So, and then the other ones, like, I didn't realize there was so many people building Gundam suits. There's a world record now. So, all right. There you have it. I can't lie. I kind of want to see it.
I mean, I'd pay to see it if it was able to be seen right now.
Yes, giant mech. All right. So we got another story here, guys.
WB messing up more stuff?
Yeah. Well, we're going to give you the whole story, and then we're going to kind of discuss what we think is going on here. Because let's discuss Ray Fisher. Okay. So Ray Fisher, the actor who played Cyborg in the Justice League movie, last year he came out with and accused WB, Jeff Johns, and Joss Whedon of mistreatment and creating a hostile work environment. And he caused so much of a fuss, tweeting out that the studio had to launch an investigation, right? But so far, nothing has come of it other than the studio parting ways with Joss Whedon, who wasn't a studio director. He came in to do reshoots, right? Mm-hmm. So anybody that's on the payroll for WB, nothing happened to anybody there, right? Joss Whedon just kind of parted ways, like, all right, I'm not working on WB products anymore. Yep. Then earlier this week, The Wrap reported that after the Snyder Cut, Fisher would be done with the role of Cyborg. Right? He stepped down, and it was reported that he was going to be written out of the Flashpoint movie, which was originally pitched as a buddy cop movie between him and Ezra Miller. I mean, that was the original pitch. Of course, Flashpoint's gone through how many rewrites, how many directors at this point? But yeah, so he went from being like co-starring in the movie basically to now he's being written out of the movie.
Right. Okay.
But hey, Absolute Geek, what's going on, Matt? Welcome. Yeah, so right now he came out and said, he kind of snapped back at the Wrap, saying that the Wrap was doing WB Pictures and Walter Hamada's bidding, basically calling him a lapdog. It's the Wrap. Yeah, so he came out and he said that the article was factually inaccurate, but he did not deny he was leaving the role or that he was being written out of the Flashpoint movie. Right?
Okay.
I figure if those were wrong, those would be things he would correct.
Right.
But he didn't. He basically said, all he said was it was factually inaccurate that he stepped down for that role. So soon after that, not necessarily in response, but kind of in response to his continued tweets, right? Which, by the way, all this tweeting he's done, he's never actually revealed what was supposed to have happened, right? He was always kind of vague, hostile workplace, in this and that. But he never came out and said, like, this happened, this person did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So WB released a statement. The statement is, the investigation was conducted by an outside law firm and led by a former federal judge. So basically pointing out how serious they took this investigation. More than 80 people were interviewed. We have a full confidence in the thoroughness and integrity, and remedial action has been taken, and the investigation has been concluded, and at this time, and it's time to move on. Basically saying nothing else is coming of this, right?
Okay.
So after it was announced, Fisher's claims that Jeff Johns would be, would be let go or whatever because of this investigation. It was announced that Jeff Johns will continue to work with Warner Media and DC, right? He's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So now the question is, so at first it was all like, okay, this one guy's making a lot of noise, right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, we're doing an investigation, so maybe something happened. Maybe he's right. Maybe something did go on, and he was mistreated in that. But then you look at the resources they put into this investigation, right? Interviewing all these people, and then nothing came of it, right? And now he's being written out of Flashpoint, basically kind of parting ways.
Yeah.
So is this a situation where, I don't know, was it, one guy raised a fuss and the big studio decided to crush him, right? He's like, no, you can't talk about what goes on behind the scenes. This is, business as usual. Or is this guy making a lot of fuss about nothing, right? And, I mean, what if you look at it, if it wasn't until this investigation that at first I was like, okay, yeah, that totally could happen. I could totally see them being abusive behind the scenes and not, you know what I mean? And not put them down. But when you look at the resources and everything that went into this investigation and then nothing came of it.
Well, yeah. I don't know what Fisher's experience in the movie industry is, how much exposure he had. It is entirely possible. And let me preface this with, I think there's no way we're ever going to know for sure what happened. We don't know enough to say he's full of it or that Warner is full of it. But it is entirely possible that a green actor came into a high intensity situation where they were under the, Johns and Whedon were under the gun from Warner Brothers to try and fix what they thought was a mess, and everybody was stressed out, and that, things that he wasn't used to, but maybe people who had more exposure to those kind of high intensity situations was just, this is the way it goes. Directors yell and scream, whatever, let's just get it done. And he wasn't buying it or wasn't willing to take it. And the studio's like, this is normal. You guys be a little nicer to the crew on set, and gave him a slap on the wrist after the investigation was done.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Whedon came in, he had 5 months to basically rewrite that movie. Yeah. And refilm that movie, right?
I will once again, I think it is safe to go to the default of WB execs screwed everything up. It's all their fault.
Absolutely. That movie is totally their fault.
Well,
the movie be under 2 hours, demanding that, they have it basically rewrite the movie in 5 months.
So, I would, I'll throw them under the bus for both what happened to Fisher and putting Whedon and Johns in the position where that might have happened. Again, we'll never know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to come out whether he was just full of it or being a baby or they were really horrible or who knows what. It's just never gonna know for sure.
Yeah.
But it's sad because he was criminally underused in that, and he seemed to be a pretty good actor. So it's kind of a bummer he's not going to get a chance to actually do something with the character.
No, I agree. I think wasn't given a chance. We'll see what happens with the Snyder Cut. Supposedly, a lot more of the cyborg stuff's going to be put back in. But
all right.
You think real quick, one last question about this. Do you think it has anything to do with the character's waning popularity in the comics? Like when a New 52 launched, he was right up there with almost like Superman
They put him
Justice
on
League
the
status.
They put him on the full Justice League, and I think nobody bought the promotion. They're like, no, this guy's a sidekick territory. He's not a main.
This guy belongs in Teen Titans.
Right, he's a Titan.
Which they still refuse to put him in the series. So he's with Doom Patrol for some reason.
I gotta admit, while I wasn't necessarily, everybody's been in the Justice League, so whatever. I don't care about that part.
Right.
But I do like the way they changed his powers and made it come from a mother box, so he's super high tech beyond what's capable on Earth. Yeah. I think that's cool. So in that sense, I think they did a good thing with that. But he's never been a top tier character, and the movies didn't give him the Iron Man treatment or anything like that. They just made him a side character.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to elevate him like, again, this is WB's fault. Marvel treated these C tier characters, B and C tier characters really well so that they became the most popular characters. They jumped the line. They became X-Men level popular.
Yeah.
And, that was thanks to one who they got for the parts and just, how Marvel Studios treated them. I think if they had, I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen Fisher in anything else, so I don't know how good an actor he is. But if you had gotten an A tier actor or a really good actor, and then given him some real meaty roles, maybe his own, then maybe people would like him like they like Iron Man and
the character's awesome in Doom Patrol, right? The guy that got to play him in Doom Patrol, he's an awesome character, right? Yeah. And I think, you look at the actor they got in Doom Patrol and you look at the character, the way he's written in that series, and you're like, man, I tell you that the Titan series could definitely use him over there. Anyway, that's what I think.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that.
Well. All right. Well, we got some more stories here. You know what time it is now? Nerd Nugget time. Doug's favorite part of the show. Nerd Nuggets. Small stories that are perfect with dipping sauce. I got to get that dipping sauce animation in there. I got to get that in there for you guys out there.
Are you doing your podcast?
Yeah. Is that?
Hi, Grizzled Geek.
My wife says hi, everybody.
It's chicken bad.
So, I'll start out. The first story here is, will Robert Downey Jr. play Thrawn in the Ahsoka series? So, this rumor was all the rage earlier on in the week, right? It came out because we know Thrawn's coming, right? They announced him in the Mandalorian series, right? Mm-hmm. And Ahsoka's off hunting him. Left over from the Rebels storyline, right? So we know he's coming. He's like one of the most popular extended universe characters there is. Ever since he came out in was it the Age of the, or was it not Shadows of the Empire? That was the one in between. What was the
Heir to the Empire?
Heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire books. So, and now we heard Robert Downey Jr. is playing him. But, however, in a now deleted tweet, Noah Outlaw from Kessel Run Transmissions, which is a very reliable source for Star Wars rumors, he tweeted out, Robert Downey Jr. is not Thrawn. Now, I will say, Lucasfilm has talked with Downey about being in a future Star Wars project. Right? Mm-hmm. So, we don't know whether he's going to be Thrawn or not, right? Because that tweet was deleted after it came out. So, one, what do we think of Robert Downey Jr. as Thrawn? And two, do we actually think that's going to happen? And if not, what do we think about this other Star Wars project thing?
All right. I want to say... let's try not to enrage Robert Downey Jr. fans. But
he's not
Robert Downey Jr. plays Robert Downey Jr. in every movie he's in. He is essentially, he's another.
Unless he's playing Sergeant Master Sergeant Osiris, Lincoln Osiris, or Osiris Lincoln, whatever, from Tropic Thunder.
Then he's playing Robert Downey Jr. playing another character who's a method actor.
Yeah.
But no. So
love RDJ.
I don't see him as Thrawn. It's the wrong kind of energy for Thrawn. And the problem I see with a Star Wars project is it will have to be something totally unique where he can be himself. He can bring, his type of energy to it. And I mean, honestly, he'd have to be a Jedi. And he'd have to be one we've never heard of. So he can be himself. I don't see him working otherwise. Personally, what do you think, Kirsten?
I would love to see him in a Mandalorian episode. Like a one shot, just like the first episode of this last season was, like just a small thing where it's like, oh, that's Robert Downey Jr. and watch him do whatever he does, and then like, okay, we can move on from this now, right?
If Bill Burr can do it, I mean, come on. If you had told me Bill Burr would be an awesome Star Wars character, I'd be like, come on, you're crazy.
But once again, Bill Burr essentially played himself.
Yeah. Well, that's what I
True.
mean, right? Like all you need is a one shot where he's able to play some character where he can just basically be his version of that character, and it doesn't matter towards any storyline beyond Mondo doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily mind if he had Robert Downey Jr. had a substantial role where he was around long term, if it were someplace new where he was a new character where he could spread his wings and be him. But not Ron. No.
I'm like,
and
who would you think should play Thrawn?
You know what? I've seen so many. I haven't watched any of them, but I've seen so many videos on YouTube about these are 7 actors, 5 actors, 10 actors, whatever, who could play Thrawn. And now I'm like, I don't know who I would.
Right now, fan favorite is Benedict Cumberbatch, but
nah,
I don't see him either.
No. Wow, I'm gonna have to put some thought into this.
I'm thinking Jason Isaac would be a great Thrawn.
Possibly.
Or, hear me out. This is crazy now. Mads Mikkelsen would look great as Thrawn, and his brother Lars does the voice of Thrawn in Rebels. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just bring in Lars for the voice, and Mads is the physical actor.
Funny. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have a good answer right now.
All right.
Because he is such an iconic character. They definitely would take. Here's my fear is that they're going to go with one of the, they're going to look for somebody huge name to play him that just doesn't fit the bill just to get that name recognition.
Yeah. Instead
of the, who's right for the character. That's my fear.
I gotta remove this Nerd Nugget banner because I'm seeing too much of Doug spinning in the Wonder Woman lasso. It's distracting me.
That's funny.
All right, Doug. What's our next nugget?
All right. After confirming its episode count as 8 last week, it looked like WandaVision would run into the premiere of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. However, it has now been confirmed that next Friday, the 15th, we will get 2 episodes, not 1. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Premiere was episodes 1 and 2. I'm like, yeah. I'm excited about this series. I don't know.
Very much same.
Yeah. Much more than I was when I heard about it. When I heard about it, I was like, what? That sounds really weird. I'm not sure about this, but the more I see about it, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Have you seen the Legends? Have you seen the series Legends on Disney Plus?
Uh,
There's a new series called Marvel Legends, and
No.
it's going to be a series that comes out basically reintroducing us to these characters throughout the Marvel universe for the MCU.
Mhm.
So it's like a little episode about Vision and Wanda, and they're going to be played before the new series come out to bring people up to date. Remember, so we all
cool.
remember where they were, what's going on with them.
Love
Nice.
that.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Kirsten.
All right. Congratulations go out to Emma Stone as the actress is pregnant with her first child. There was the announcement had caused speculation as to what it will mean for her as her Spider-Man 3 cameo, Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, and I saw a picture. She's really pregnant. It's not just like an early stages. We can kind of hide it with clothing kind of thing. No, she's really pregnant. So
Have they started filming Spider-Man 3 yet?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know they were actually filming.
So yeah, they're filming right now. So
It's just going to be on, not in person,
right.
like a Zoom call or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they got to keep Emma Stone in there as Gwen Stacy at some point, right? But she definitely, all those speculations about her suiting up as Spider-Gwen out the window at this point.
Yeah.
That's definitely not happening. But anyway, congratulations, Emma.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We know you're watching.
yeah, we're watching. Kevin Feige, we found out a couple years ago, it was announced that he was going to produce a Star Wars movie for Lucasfilm, and then we didn't hear anything about it, and then things got kind of pushed off, back burner for Star Wars, kind of simmered down. But now that Mandalorian has reignited the fires of Star Wars, it looks like there's movement on it here, and the Disney's now like house writer Michael Waldron, who wrote Loki as well as Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, who looks to be on tap to write several more of the Marvel series. He's tapped to write the screenplay for it. So the big question is now, will Feige conquer 2 Disney universes? The 2 biggest franchises in history.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. What do we think about a Feige? I mean, obviously he's not directing, but he's producing it. He's in the right position, right? To find the right people to do this correctly.
Yeah.
Is he going to save Star Wars movies for us, or what's going on? What do you think?
Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic. I guess we'll see what we see when we Loki and Doctor Strange come out, and see if this guy Michael Waldron's up to snuff.
Yeah.
But again, I'm gonna believe in Feige until he, proves me wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they like Loki so much that he greenlit a second season before the first one even premieres.
Yeah. I mean, he's got over a 20-0.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, all right, let's call it 18-2 or
18-2.
whatever. Yeah.
But even back before he was in charge, he was doing stuff like making sure that Wolverine's hairdo was correct, right? He's responsible for that kind of stuff, right? So he's a huge fanboy who, because of him, some of the best parts of these Marvel movies came out. And then when he got in charge of it, it just became, well, Doug will talk about what it became here in his next, this next story.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, let's move on. Bob Iger, in a recent interview, said they had a 10-year break-even plan when Marvel was purchased for $4 billion in 2009. They have doubled that amount with just the 4 Avengers movies. Endgame made more money in 2019 than the entire domestic box office in 2020.
Wow.
All right. Now, that's not
circumstances,
that big
yes. Yes.
But still,
that's an impressive thing to be able to quote.
With the movies, merchandise, and parks, Marvel has the highest return on investment of any Disney acquisition.
And Disney's bought a lot of stuff that they made money from over the years, but nothing comes close to Marvel.
Right. Yeah, I think part of that is because They kind of bungled Star Wars, but in the long run, Marvel was a way more. It had way more potential for return than Star Wars did, because Star Wars is not in the position where you could release 3 movies a year, sustainably.
That's
They
true.
just without first building a wider universe where you're like, here's the current, the trilogy era with, pre and post and whatever, say they knock it out of the park. And then we're going to go back to the old Republic. And until you do that kind of split up and you develop those kind of things, you can't sustain 3 movies a year. But Marvel, they've got plenty of stuff to do that. But honestly, I'm more happy with Star Wars being primarily on the small screen. Never thought I'd say that, but I'm loving The Mandalorian and the potential it has for all of the others.
Yeah.
See Matt's question here. I have not read The High Republic, but I haven't
had a chance to go out and get it, but I'm hearing good things, so I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Some of the Star Wars channels I follow have had good things to say about at least the first book in it. So we'll have to see.
Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
See, but I don't think. Well, I mean, maybe they can do something with it movie-wise, but I think fanboy-wise, you would get more out of going to the Old Republic.
Yes.
Even if you didn't go to Revan's story, you went before or after. Just the references you could make would get fans excited. Whether
I don't care if it's about Revan, but we need to see Revan on screen.
Yeah.
There needs to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a story about Revan, although that would be awesome. But we got to see him at least.
Yeah, just have a Revan statue in the background.
Yeah.
A little hologram of Revan.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, Kirsten.
All right. To wrap us all up, Mandalorian characters will be joining the Disney theme parks by the time they are open again. The rumors suggest that they will replace the new trilogy character, or at least put them in the backseat position.
Yeah.
So is this Disney parks in general, or are we talking Disneyland specifically, since that's the only domestic park not currently open?
Right. Disneyland's could be the first one, and they're going to roll them out to the other ones.
Yeah.
What they're saying here, all the rumors are saying that they're going to put, like, Rey and Kylo Ren are going to be kind of backburnered in these, because when these parks opened, there was a big focus on new trilogy characters and stuff like that. But clearly, they're thinking, we'll have Baby Grogu and Mando instead of.
They'll do way better.
That would, absolutely. I'm far more likely to buy Grogu and Mando merch than I am Kylo Ren and Rey merch.
You can buy I don't know if you can get it now, but there was a Grogu that moved. Like a life-size Grogu that would move around.
Oh my goodness.
My little cousin got one of them for Christmas, and it's incredible, and I am extremely jealous. It's so cool. It makes noises, it blinks, its ears move, like it's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the it was in the Galleria one after The Mandalorian, but there's a clip of Robert Rodriguez playing guitar on set and Baby Grogu rocking out to him. YouTube it's just a clip, just Robert Rodriguez playing the Baby Yoda. It's amazing. The puppeteers were on point because he's just sitting on a rock, just jamming out to Robert Rodriguez playing, and I'm like, yes, okay. Anytime you want to show me that, I'm down. I think that's a smart move. Replacing, new trilogy characters with.
Maybe not totally replace them, because there are people who like them, who enjoy seeing them in the parks, and I don't want the Mandalorian to become oversaturated.
Yeah.
Like just having somebody in the Mandalorian suit walking around every day just kind of seems less special. But if he shows up every once in a while, it's the Mandalorian.
Right.
like come in and wrap somebody up drag them off every once in a while, just like it's coming for a bounty. Or they could have a Baby Grogu in his floating crib thing, like waving at people from behind some ropes. I mean,
That's
cooling
interesting.
and waving. Yeah.
That's funny. I had not heard that rumor, and I'm usually up on Disney rumors pretty much, so I'm kind of curious.
Yep. Check it out, man. Check it out. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for this week. Thank you for joining us to listen to us goob about nerd stuff. Even if there's stories we're not super excited about, we're going to bring them to you, right?
Yeah.
But we'll be back. New year, new volume of the podcast. Yes.
Oh.
This is
just wait for Mike's OnlyFans.
Yes, right. Hey, most girls make all kinds of money. I'm telling you what, we should do an OnlyFans for your knees, Doug. That's where you're just
I
just
mean,
nothing
honestly.
yeah. You in shorts below the waist, just yeah. Tell you, we'll increase this revenue. All right, guys. Once again, we are on the cusp of 1 million views, guys. So check out some of our other videos. Come, if you're listening to this out there in podcast land, come check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. Peruse some of our videos, put it on the background while you're, working out or cleaning the house, or, I was suggested earlier, while you're sleeping. Just listen to our voices. Soothe you to sleep. But yeah, any of those videos that helps us out, helps us get to that goal, and once we hit that goal, we'll have a special nice. Yes. So, and we'll have a special show to celebrate once we hit that 1 million views, guys. So, help us on that journey. We're almost there. It should be by next couple weeks. We'll be there, man. So, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 70, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.